And here we go. Thank you, Zeke. Game 4. It's going to be awesome and is already happening. The break is over, and now we're going back into the fray here. Thomas HD might as well just change his name to Thomas 4K if he's going to come out the gate like that, laying down some fire. And this is Thomas HD, the heroic moment that he had there. Unbelievable. And what a awesome way. I just love the kind of the social tweet that we had there where he started literally sitting on 16 HP and able to close out the door with 5 elims and the Victory Royale. And that's what makes trios so cool, Sundown, where one person can do that.
One person able to rule them all right there, and it was Thomas HD sitting up in his high tower. But we're going to switch on over to another perilous place. It's Doom's Domain, where, again, 2 of the top trios are just battling it out in what can only be described as an utter clown fiesta, as Rezon will get Lechi. Aqua going to go down. In return, all the crash pads being used, all the utility, because that's all that matters. However, on the other side, we talk about doing it all for his team. You can see Thomas executing on a down up there, trying to keep the hope and dream alive by putting an awesome flick effectively into his backpack right now, as Reason puts Benji back into the lobby, picks up his second elimination right now, and honestly, it's an absolute cluster over at Doom's Domain now, as a third team has now joined the fray, with Joel, Fort Venti, and Day all popping in to say hello.
And the most interesting thing is that the battle for Doom's Domain, it seems as though it's going towards Noah, Rezon, and Aqua. I haven't seen Benji, Lechi, and Savage kind of take that away or have a moment where they could just say, you know, put it in question. And already, this is only week 1. We still have a whole month. And if Benji, Lechi, and Savage don't qualify here, there's going to be a big question mark for them to answer is, do we continue to try to alpha or contest the spot? Because if Noah Riley and his team continues on, they're going to have the ability to kind of flex it as much as possible, to experiment, to put in all those theory points to see what they can do, as Savage was the only one standing up, and it looks like the third party from Joel comes in and cleans that up there, Sundown.
Yeah, but let's be honest. I was really ready to give up on my prediction for Noah Riley, Rezon, and Aqua yesterday after seeing the performance. I didn't think they would be able to come back and kind of turn around Dooms as strong as they were able to today. I'm of the opinion that the line, well, one, if you're going to go on Twitter, claim your drop spot, and then also circle exactly what spot of the place you're dropping on and which chest you're going for, you better be able to defend it. And you better not complain once if somebody comes in and has a game plan and tries to out 50-50 and fight you. Because if you're going to tell them exactly what you're doing every single time and where to find the 2v1s and where to find those isolated members, and you're not good enough to defend it, then you deserve to lose that drop spot. Straight up. However, if you're contesting a team back and forth and you're going relatively evenly, I think over the course of the weeks, it's worth it to get the spot consistently enough to challenge through, because eventually one of the weeks that team won't be there, or you'll win it enough where you'll get the qualification spot. And even if not, you're going to be able to qualify through on consistency, just because we've seen if you're able to get one of these mythic points and get control of this bomb that Noah Riley is able to press forward here and get the eliminations that come with alphaing up this spot, you'll have enough points to go through. However, as we saw in OCE, there can be times where if you're losing a spot so bad, you don't actually get to play in the FNCS for the first 8 or 9 matches, which is effectively what happened at Dooms when the Twins and Volks just absolutely forced Fresh, Squeaks, and Carry On away and made them go over to Slurpee Swamp. Then that's when you kind of have to reevaluate. If you're not actually in the same conversation as the people you're contesting, then you need to go somewhere else and you need to figure out a better game plan and find a trio that you match up more effectively against. However, if you're able to take away the spot a couple of times and you feel confident there, as we saw Mariah, Lindeff, and Jaspe do, and then all of a sudden you have the option of going there and contesting, or going back to where you were successful before, which I think over the course of these 12-game setups is going to end up being infinitely more valuable than just being able to alpha up one spot.
We're going to go ahead and take a replay very shortly. Well, when that gets kind of in the way in there for a bit, once we get it ready to roll out the gate. It wasn't ready yet. It needs some more time to cook. We were just taking a look at the oven, taking a peek at it, but so much fireworks are happening in Doom's Domain. So much action is happening. It's one of the hottest spots in terms of lethality that's happening out there. So much eliminations are going back and forth. And again, it's the Fortnite's one of those games in terms of the esports scene where people are, have this social media presence of putting clips out there. No doubt people are saying clip it, send it over to them, tag that person. There's no other pressure in kind of esports where you could have this, this friendly banter going back and forth. And that kind of play is, the people like the Zates in the world could kind of get into the mental of a top tier elite players. And we're seeing players kind of like not necessarily respect the game so much if someone's kind of taking over that spot, but realizing how dangerous it is to continue that. And you don't necessarily could ruin your entire run here, but I don't know. I hate saying the word throw, but Sundown, I can't find another word at the moment to express it.
I think it's less of a throw and more, I don't want to say you have to take a more analytical approach because, again, that's a little bit of a meme, but I think taking a step back and realizing what your trio does well, there aren't actually, I think, a lot of elite trios that excel at taking early game fights. And when I say early game, I mean when you have less than a shotgun AR combo in full shields. People who are used to and comfortable at fighting with that 100 HP mark with whatever weapon is given to them. I would say there's only really 3 or 4 teams in each region who I could point out as saying, like, yeah, they're going to take those fights. More often than not, players want to get settled, want to get into the mid game, want to get on those rotations. And I think that you need to find a way to do that more effectively based off of how you're dropping, which is why I liked what they were doing before, where they were gauging whether or not they could fight the vault and then going over to Coral. However, they needed to be doing that yesterday before 4 teams realized that nobody was up in Coral, and then everyone decided to go over there.
Now we're seeing a team that was highlighted by our analyst desk of Reese and Shire Wager, Astromex and Hardfind, currently sitting at 5th place here with a total of 118 points. This is day 2. They got 31 points right now, so they're looking very, very strong with an average placement at least around 10th place. And that average placement is going to be very vital, considering that is why they're in the 5th place. They have 34 elims total, averaging about 3.7 elims per game. We saw Thomas HG getting 5 by himself, but Noah had left the door open a little bit. They got to be careful here, Sundown. Noah takes some beams, and now he has to wait right here, and a gatekeeping situation is unfolding.
Haven't you ever heard of closing the door? Oh, God, need to make sure he closes that one up. Otherwise, it's going to ruin more than just a wedding here. This is a key game where they need to combo through, and Noah Riley instead going to use the aggro shockwave to go straight into Letwick's box, clean that one up, and get the siphon. Raisin was converted on, however, 6 points already coming through, but we've talked about it time and time again. The biggest detracting factor is getting taken down outside of the placement threshold, and Noah says, well, I'm going to try and take it down and equalize again. Horizontal shockwave coming through, but not quite able to convert on it. What does Jamside opt to do? We've seen so many times that his team has done a good job of playing spoiler and picking up key eliminations in the mid game, and right now he has 2 shockwaves, so if he decides to go aggressive, he could get in the back of a box, and as I say that, he picks up Aqua right on the other side as they get a little help from a third party, Maida and co. End up getting Noah Riley, and they're going to walk away from that as the Doom's Domain team. I mean, adding a third team to that mix makes it that much harder to exit out. We saw them storm fighting, and they're going to get cleaned up on the edge and are no longer in this competition.
Jamside and Hellraiser survived right there. They survived that panic at the disco that was happening. Oh my goodness, I can't believe Doom's Domain squad's going down, and Sundown, your pick, started off very hot. I mean, I think they're having that free Doom's Domain that's given them very high placements, but I'm just not sure what happened there. I mean, sometimes the confidence of having that Doom's the mystical bomb and all that kind of bite you there at the end. But, we still have a couple more games here. We're in game 4. We still got 2 more to go. This is the first week of the FNCS Trios. All month, we're going to bring you all the action, so don't worry. But someone that's been bringing all the action, having more than 5+ elims is Nako, Floki, and Clement, who have been landing at Misty Meadows, have been doing really well. And we've already been seeing in day 2, Sundown, finding those early engagements and doing really well at closing it out very quickly and not getting caught in the third-party situation.
Yeah, this is another one of those teams who's actually been really good at executing on those early and mid-game fight. Again, another one of those full French trios. Floki playing for Solari. And you have Nakors and Clement both representing Rams, but they're benefit is, and we've talked about it, using their utility at the correct timing. We've seen them do this a number of times. They like to opt for the lower crash pads and dropping players down, throwing that one at the bottom. However, not quite able to convert on that, which was a little surprising to me. It seemed like they had the opportunity, but hesitated for a second. The other team able to pull their ally back. I think that it was either a quick harpoon or they did the pickup carry. But right now, Sipe will be looking to get that revive on the other side. You'll see them trying to rotate and get a better angle, but there are 4 teams directly stacked on top of each other here. 1 being a duo, 3 being complete trios who are all hip to hip in the same box. So the situations are going to get a little awkward as the storm starts moving.
Thinking about trios making rotations, we're seeing Jachu, Advise, and Paco right now. Now they have to make a major rotations at the first half in and half out. 5th zone gives them a max pull. So you're looking on the bottom right of the mini map here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You're seeing that pull. It's going to go very far. And Sundown, they have no mobility so far in Jachu. So they're going to have to figure it out. And in previous iterations of Fortnite Competitive, you had a launch pad to bail you out. You could have community launch pads to bail you out. But that is not the case. And this is going to be a long trek here for them. So I think what they're doing right now is trying to get everybody to stop looking at them for a brief moment, get a crack, something to happen so they can make this rotation. But we've been seeing stubborn teams hold the line down as down glows Florini. So that might be an opportunity to like just get out of dodge. And there they go. Someone had the utility. The mega bounce goes out, but it looks like the Travis Scott was not an astronomical launch right there, and they got to run on foot.
Yeah, and also while all of that was going on, Vettel got downed, picked up, downed again. iDrop also got down. So our number 1 team under pressure and potentially not making placement points for the 2nd game in a row, where at least every other time they've gotten 1 point. Last game was the first time they had dropped out. Now under the pressure again there, but it looked like they might have been able to escape it, as none of them have been confirmed. Still 53 players remaining, 21 trios left. Right now, Rotary will get confirmed over. Kiriachi trying to be the playmaker as Stormy Right gets taken down, and unfortunately, they are going to fall there. Just ticked right on over. Actually, that might have been Storm Surge that ended up taking them out, because no one got the credit for that elimination going over, and Storm Surge did just turn off. So unfortunate, they're unable to really find the damage they needed to find to get taken out. And right now you can see Sammy has control of the high ground, but probably not going to be maintaining it. So we need to keep an eye on who ends up making their push forward for it towards the end.
And while we're seeing everybody was kind of jockeying for position on top of the mountain, that north side, the elevation, but now the Storm decides in zone 6 to kind of push on down south. And already you're looking forward. There's so many builds on there, and the Become Legend Slicks down he goes. So Sammy right now doing it all by himself, maybe could have a repeat performance here, what Thomas HD did, a repeat performance of what Benji did in the opens, where he was able to clutch with 10 HP on the low ground. But we're seeing no one really has a strong position right now. No one's really playing for height, because zone pulled so down south, and you're not going to have the Mets to expect that, so you're going to have the mobility to kind of go down. But we're sticking with Sammy's story. We're sticking with his ride. Can he have that finish that we're all expecting? You have to clutch out. Dennis and Kui are no doubt cheering on their teammate as he sneaks right in, ejects himself into a tarp, and does get a big hit, but it was not enough. Didn't get a clean hit, just grazed the chin right there, and Sammy's in danger here, Sundown, of going down.
God, that feels absolutely awful. To make the play, sneak in the backside of the tarp, nobody sees you, you fire off that epic pump, and then you hit for a nice 30 headshot coming through there. That's 1 pellet. Catching the side is aim. Not true when the solo needed the most. Going down outside of the placement threshold as well. That will give us our top 17. And right now, we have Anas up on high ground with, I believe, Thomas HD with him. We saw Flick go down early, but the duo still making it work, and still plenty of control coming through as we hop on board here with Lanouf, Moraine, and Jaspe. They use their crash pads and utility to get to the front side of the zone.
And at height, we saw Thomas. Oh my good, Lunef right now gaining train hard to amplify, and down goes that trio. But we saw Thomas HD and Anas at height. They're kind of exhausting a lot of materials, considering that the elevation dropped really, really low. So up height, it is that trio. Moraine on the right side of your box is doing really strong here on a mid-layer tarp. You're seeing Jachu going on the low ground. So now you have your 3 layers, and we're going to see this stretch, let's say, cake. Let's see if it doesn't get smushed, as height is being contested by Jaspe, Moraine, and Lunef, and now they have height, Sundown.
They're going to be able to take it away, utilizing those late shockwaves. We talked about it. If it's just a duo on height and they have late utility, they'll be able to force it out. It's some gamma on gamma crime going on over there, but all the action on the low ground right now. Jachu getting one and converting. We talk about players being hip to hip on the low ground and staying in a box. If you happen to walk into the wrong area, the three of them will chew you up. They'll put you in the blender, as the Fortnite community likes to say, and you'll go straight back to the lobby, and that's where we see so many eliminations. Jachu in the bottom right, Moraine in the top right. We're closing in on our top 10, and it's mostly duos holding hands with a couple trios on the low ground.
And the trio that has a strong position is Moraine right now. And what an unbelievable use of mobility to take over. Jachu sitting right down, looking for that Travi Patty, looking for that fish burger. They're trying to move on to get it. Jachu gets hit. Now Jachu has to retreat back to his trio. And now it's an opportunity to try to hold on as much as possible, because every placement point matters. So you just hold on tight and make sure, because Moraine is at height, raining down the beams, as Shayo, the detective, pointed out. The beam play is going to be strong, and this is going to pull back. So that means Moraine, Lunef, and Jaspe have a strong opportunity to hold on to that, and their height stamina is going to be so strong to close out this game here, Sundown.
Yeah, but I also want to keep an eye on Clement right now. Clement was pushing in towards the top three, and he's still walking around on that mid-ground tarp, just able to pick up it down on Akusto, but Akusto will finally get the turnover. He goes down in fourth, as now we have our top two, Lanuf, Moraine, and Jaspe, trying to close it out from the high ground, have shockwaves, have a 3v2. This should just be clinical, as they're going to be the ones who will take away match number 10 overall, game number 4 here. Shockwave to go out to close the gap, hunt down the last player there, but maybe a moment of drama as Cammy is able to get the down, however, won't quite convert. Now it's a 1v2, but where's the last player? He'll finally be ticked over.
Yes, Lunef, Moraine, and Jaspe get the victory royale. The team that was sitting in 11